Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. Today we will be comparing some of our favorite one-step polishes. So these are correcting fluids that can both cut and finish. So you just need these and then adjust the pad to the surface you're working on. We have the Last Cut, we have 3D1, we have SONAX Cut Finish, we have Extreme Solutions LVR 500 Flawless Cut, and F601 from Coach Kemi. These having the ability to both cut and finish, we are going to test the cut and finish. So first we're going to test the cut, and we're going to put some sand marks on there. I'm not going to go crazy and do a white coat lab test. This is just going to be for fun, just something quick I set up. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time into preparation because think about this. The results you get are going to be subjective and extremely subjective to what you're working on, hard, medium, or soft clear, the pad you use, the conditions, the heat, direct sunlight, or in the shade. Also, the imperfections you're chasing after. So we're just going to quick do this test, and we're going to take each one of these and run a path through all of those sand marks, 800 grit, 1500, 2000, and 2500 grit, and we're just going to compare the results from one polish to another. Let's start off with LVR 500. Now that there is Flawless Cut from Extreme Solutions. Starts at $28.98 depending on the size of the container. Now they do have a sale going right now. If you're interested, you can look into that. It claims to be able to remove 1200 to 1500 grit sand marks, and it is body shop safe. The 50/50 Eurofiber pad is a perfect pad to match up with these one steps. Takes care of a lot of work. It's not the only pad you'll be able to use with one. You may have to adjust to a more aggressive pad like a wool pad, and maybe all the way down to a finish pad or application pad. But we're going to have it attached to our cordless DeWalt, and we will get started with the test. We run a path all the way down through and then all the way back. Wipe off the residue, follow up with a panel prep to make sure there's no fillers, and then we'll come in close to take a look, both with the shop light and also a swirl finder. Coming in to take a look, let's keep in mind this is just the first polish. There's nothing to compare it to. And in the real world, it may take a few passes. This is medium clear, by the way. These imperfections are on medium clear. So it could take many passes. It could take adjusting to a more aggressive pad or a less aggressive pad, depending on the imperfections you're working on. So this is what's left behind after just a trip down and a trip back. So on this particular panel with medium clear, it would take a few passes and maybe adjust to a more aggressive pad. After cleaning the Eurofiber pad so we don't cross-contaminate, we'll break out the 3D1. Now, 32 ounces for $48.99. That's getting up there, getting kind of pricey, but it has the ceramic alumina abrasives and is capable, as it claims, to remove 1500 grit sand marks. Now this machine is rather heavy. It's almost 2 pounds heavier than some of the other, like for example, the Flex cordless polisher. So I'm just going to guide it. I'm going to use the weight of the polisher and the same speed between the third and the fourth speed setting, and also correction speed, 1 inch every second or two. Now it's going to be impossible to keep it exact through every section, but I'm going to do my best to do so with each of these polishes to give them the best comparison I can give you. Okay, needless to say, none of these dust at all. And with today's technology and abrasive, there should be no excuse for dusting. I personally don't use anything to dust. It drives me crazy. It just makes more work with all of the quality polishes and compounds that don't and are available out there to pick up that don't dust. I recommend you look into them as well. Let's come in and take a look. Now, the first two are pretty close, but as we get down the panel, you're going to see some huge differences between these one steps. And again, I'm only human. I'm not a machine. It's hard to make the exact path, pressure, speed, and cut in every section. But you're going to see some pretty big differences with me doing the best that I can. And again, on this particular panel with medium hardness to the clear coat, it would take this polish another couple passes to put a dent in those imperfections, or maybe just bump up to a more aggressive pad. And that's the beauty of these one steps. You just grab that one bottle, surround yourself with a few pads, and just switch pads and do your test spots till you find one that works. Let's move on to the next polish. And that's going to be the SONAX Cut and Finish. Now, the SONAX Cut and Finish, depending on the size, that can reach up to $49.99, so that's really getting pricey. That can remove sand marks, overspray, and some dust nibs. Let's take a trip over and back on its section on the test panel and see how it performs. That's going to do it. No dusting whatsoever with this one step, and they all have been easy to wipe off. I find sometimes it's a little bit harder to wipe some of these off, especially the oilier ones, on soft clear, and then if you're outside in extreme heat and direct sunlight. So as we come in, there's a little bit of a difference here between one section to another. This is also another one step where you would have to jump up to a more aggressive pad and do a few more passes. Okay, time for another quality one step. This is Jace Price's The Last Cut, and I have a ton of excellent one steps that didn't even make this round, and I'll probably do another round just to include them. And that includes the Turtle Wax One and Done, and a few others that should be in the honorable mention that we use a ton. Actually, the reason I don't have One and Done is because we're out of it, and they don't have it locally. It gets sold out quickly, so I have to order that, and when I get more in, we'll do another round with 5 other extremely effective one steps. The Last Cut, you can get that for a 16-ounce container for $28.98. Zero fillers and lots of lubrication to reduce the heat buildup on the panel. So let's make a trip down, a trip back, and we'll come in and take a closer look. No dusting whatsoever, a piece of cake to wipe off. We're going to follow up with the panel prep, make sure there's no fillers hiding any of those imperfections, giving it an advantage over the others next to it without doing the work. So let's come in and take a look. And now we're actually starting to see some heavy work being done with just that trip down and back. This is still going to need either multiple passes or a more aggressive pad, but it looks like it has the bite to it where you won't be doing quite as many passes, or you won't need quite the aggressive pad you would with the other two on this panel and for these defects. Again, this is all very subjective. After cleaning the Eurofiber pad once again, we get the F601 out from Koch Chemi's collection. This is, well, you can get it 8 ounces for $19.95, so cost effective. It has the ability to remove 2500 grit sand marks and is recommended for medium weathered paintwork. You can see just looking at the panel with the shop light, although the sections aren't perfect, they are improving the areas. They are just enhancing the paint. For a true one step, you would definitely need, again, another few passes or more aggressive pads. So let's take a trip down and back, wipe off the residue, use the panel prep, and take a look. All right, let's take a look. Now, these last two sections, these polishes really shined getting some work done in just one trip down and back. They're very close. I want you down in the comments section to let me know which one of these two, the last two polishes in the last two test sections, did the best job removing and going after those sand marks. Look at each section, especially the 800 grit, where none of them are supposed to be able to remove, and let me know what you think. Keep in mind, in normal situations, any one of these would have gotten the work and the results that you were looking for. And quite honestly, here in our shop, we reach for the 3D products probably the most. We've been reaching for the Koch Chemie a little bit more and more as we use them. We love them. The flawless cut we've used many, many times. And the last cut, we have gone through a few bottles of that. So really whatever's close, because these all are excellent. Okay, that will draw a close to this section of the video. A short series, a 2-video series. I had to break it into 2. Let me know which one you thought cut the best. Now let's move on to finish. Now, which one of these will give us the highest gloss? I have a panel here that is just slightly hazed over with 5000 grit. So we're going to finish up now, and we'll use the Eurofiber pad again because that can cut and finish. And we'll see which one gives us the highest gloss. So I'll meet you over in the next video after a short break. And we're going to start off with 66.5 gloss units. And we'll see just what type of a bump we get in the gloss and the clarity of this panel when we return.